All right, crazy kids, let's finish up the Electoral College lesson. So, quick review. Remember, because of the winner-take-all allocation of electoral vote, rule that 48 out of 50 states follow, you can become president by losing the popular vote. You can lose the popular vote and win the Electoral College. That has happened 4 times. It may happen a 5th. If Trump wins, it'll undoubtedly happen a 5th. By the way, you know, Biden is virtually guaranteed to win the national popular vote. All right, we've elected a bunch of presidents with less than half of Americans with a plurality, right? With a plurality. Less than, presidents have been elected with less than half the vote. Third-party candidates can't run. They'll never win, and if they win, they just end up shooting the candidate most like them in the foot. And so large populations like Phoenix are ignored, if not in a swing state. Look at San Francisco, LA, San Diego, all the cities in Texas are ignored. New York is ignored. Chicago is ignored. And your vote is snuffed out at the state level. If you are a Democrat living in a Republican state or a Republican living in a Democratic state, then as far as the president goes, you have no incentive to vote, right? Which leads to lots of wasted votes. All right, so we left off with this calculation. The second big issue and the second big distortion in the Electoral College is small states have disproportionate voting power. I asked you to do some calculations. Alaska has 731,000 people. It has 3 electoral votes, 244,000 people per Electoral College vote, right? California, sorry, what happened? California's got 3.9 million people divided by 55 electoral votes. Don't forget the 2 Senate votes, right? Don't forget the 2 Senate votes, which comes out to 718. A ratio of 17 to 244 is about 3 to 1. That means that people in Alaska basically have 3 times the voting power as somebody from California. Literally, when somebody from Alaska walks in, they get to vote 3 times for a Californian's 1. Or it takes 3 California votes to equal 1 Alaska vote for president. All right, here is a weird map. This shows the size of states modified by their relative voting power for president. So look how small Texas and California are. Look at Wyoming. Wyoming's huge. Alaska is huge. DC is huge. So small states, right? Now where's the dividing line? The dividing line is about, let's see, where is that? Right. Kentucky has 8. So, and Louisiana has 9. So it's between Kentucky and Louisiana. So the line is, am I right there? Yeah. Wait, Louisiana has what? Louisiana has 9? Am I doing that right? No, Louisiana has 8. Louisiana has 8. So it's between Louisiana and South Carolina. So this is about the midway point, right? So is it fair to say that states on this side benefit from getting enhanced voting power for president, and the states on this side are hurt by it? By the way, where is Arizona in this? Arizona is well into the hurt by small states having extra voting power, all right? So, especially my A people, why do small states have disproportionate voting power? Write it down. It's because Every state gets 2 electoral votes for its senators, regardless of size. Okay, does this voting bias in favor of small states favor a particular party? Well, let's do this. Let's count. All right, let's start with the Republicans. And remember, this dividing line that was about halfway was between 9 and 8 electoral votes. These guys had 8, these guys have 9 or more. All right, so let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Did I miss any? Did I miss any? So we have 15 states that are Republican, that are in that area. And so how many California, how many Democratic states do we have? All right, let's do that count. We have Hawaii. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maine doesn't count because it splits. 7, 8, 9. DC would count for this, so 10. Did I do that right? Did I forget any other? All right, so in a nutshell, there is an advantage that favors the Republicans with respect to small states having more voting power. So, how many of you think the Electoral College is kind of dumb? Anybody think it's kind of dumb? Remember, there's 40,000 elected, I'm just making that number up, but there's a whole bunch, right, of elected offices all around the country. There's the, Board of Governors for the school district, there's, county supervisors, there are mayors, state officials all over the place, thousands and thousands. All of them are elected in a very simple way. We vote, we count the votes, whoever gets the most votes wins, except for president. All right, so let's review the concerns or distortions and see whether they would be fixed by the popular vote. Number 1, lose the popular vote. Oh, because of winner take all, allocation of electoral votes, lose the popular vote and win the Electoral College. That would go away, correct? That would go away? What about this? Elected by a plurality. That would go away if you had a system where if nobody got a majority vote, there was a what? A runoff. A runoff. Third party candidates shoot similar party in the foot. This would go away if you required a winner to get a majority, and if nobody got a majority, drop everybody but the top 2 and do a runoff. Right? That would go away. This is interesting. Would there be a concept of swing states? Would there even be a concept of swing states? In other words, would the Republican go campaign in California? Would the Democrat go campaign in Alabama? The answer is yes, because they would still win votes, and those votes would count at the national level. If you're a Republican and you go to California and you campaign and you get 500,000 more people to vote for you, those votes count. You don't have to win California for California to count, right? The whole concept of swing states would go away. Think about it. Votes wasted at the state level, that would go away. Your vote would count into the national total, regardless of whether you were voting in a Republican or a Democratic state. And small states have disproportionate voting power. That would absolutely go away, right? That would absolutely go away. All right, so have I convinced anybody? Should we get rid of the Electoral College? Can we get rid of the Electoral College? Well, it's in the Constitution. It's in the original Constitution and the 12th Amendment. So we have to amend the Constitution, correct? Well, everybody go and open up Article 5. Go to your Constitution, which is in the classroom. Open it, go to Article 5 and read it. You will see that there are basically two ways to propose an amendment and two ways to ratify an amendment. All right, but in a nutshell, after you get, all right, so pause it and read that. Welcome back. All right, as you can see from Article 5, an amendment doesn't go into effect unless it gets ratified by 3/4 of the states. What is 3/4 of the states? Well, 3/4 of 100 is 75. 3/4 of 50 is therefore 37.5. You can't have half a state. So 3/4 is going to equal what? How many states? Going to equal 38 states, right? All right, look at it another way. In other words, any state more than, how many states are needed to block it? How many states are needed to block it? And if the vote can be 38 to 12 here, then if the vote is 37 to 13, then the amendment can be blocked. All right? So here's the question. What states have an interest in keeping the Electoral College? What states have an interest in keeping the Electoral College? Hands, hands, hands. Beautiful. Well, number one, swing states. Iowa, New Hampshire, Florida, Ohio. Well, Arizona is starting to become a swing state. Are we interested in, is our status as a swing state getting special attention worth the downsides of the Electoral College? You know what? Iowa is a swing state. Is anybody going to go campaign in Iowa if it's run by if the president is elected by national popular vote? Is any candidate going to go campaign in Iowa? Yeah, I don't think so either. So you know what? Iowa would be bummed. New Hampshire. Is anybody going to go campaign up in New Hampshire? No, I don't think so. By the way, what are the swing states again? Go to 270 to win and look for the ones that are brown, that are not colored, right? Those are the swing states. Florida is a swing state. Is it still going to get a ton of attention? Yeah, maybe not as much though. Maybe not as much. But it's still going to get attention in the campaign, but maybe not as much. Pennsylvania. Is Pennsylvania going to get as much attention? Probably not. So swing states might not be interested in getting rid of the Electoral College. Republican states, right? Look what's happened. The Republicans have won the White House twice because of the Electoral College, correct? No ifs, no ands, no buts. They've won it twice because of the Electoral College in the last 16 years. Oh, by the way, the two that won it in the 1800s were also Republicans. So the Republican Party has actually won the presidency 4 times because of the Electoral College, while losing the popular vote, national popular vote. Small states without a major population center to attract candidates in the general election. You know, places like Montana, Wyoming, Alaska, they've got no, why should they give up their power, their enhanced power to have an influence on who is president when they'll get nothing in return? All right. Right, so all these small states that wouldn't be visited anyway, they don't have an interest in getting rid of the Electoral College. So in a nutshell, basically we have well over 13 states that are going to resist it. We are stuck with it forever, right? Okay, wait a second. I'm going to check my clock. All right, I'll be honest, I would not have thought of this idea in a billion years, but isn't it clever? Remember, Article 2, Section 1, Paragraph 2 says, state legislatures may determine how electors are selected. They can direct how electors are selected. What if states passed this law. Pause it, and read this law. Read this. All right, you back with me? Isn't this interesting? Do you guys get it? A state would pass a law saying, hey, regardless of our statewide vote, we are going to award our electors to the winner of the national popular vote. To the winner of the national popular vote. All right. You know, nobody was paying much attention to this law until 2011, when California passed it. That got everybody's attention. And then that got it up to 132 electoral votes. Now, I've just been adding slides instead of changing them because it's interesting to see the progression. But, as of Rhode Island passed it in 2013, New York, another big state, in 2014. New York's got how many? 29 electoral votes. Connecticut passed it in May of 18, getting up to 172. And then what happened? Well, as of 2020, Colorado passed it, Oregon passed it, New Mexico passed it, and Delaware passed it. So we are up to 196. What do we need? What do they need? 270. So what is that? That is 74 more electoral votes. 74 more electoral votes. Would this basically end the Electoral College's influence? Crazy? All right, if you think this is a cool idea, go to this webpage. Go to this webpage. Go down here where it says take action now. Tell your legislatures to pass the National Popular Vote Bill. Put in your zip code right here, hit go, and it will take you to a page where you have to put in your address. That's how they avoid spam. Put your address in, and then they'll give you some email options to send to your state legislature. Remember, we are in State Legislative District 1. We have a state senator down in Phoenix and 2 state representatives down in Phoenix. It sends them emails telling them, hey, vote for this bill. Should Arizona vote for this bill? Should Arizona vote for this bill? My humble opinion is yes, but make up your own mind. Okay, a couple quick things. I don't know why I put these in. I forget what point I was going to make. Just kind of reinforcing the fact that there are some very red places, right? There are some very red places that get their 2 Senate votes that don't have very many, that don't have large population centers. That get benefited from the small state distortion. It's interesting to see, if you flip back and forth, you can kind of watch what happens, like watch in here. Look what happened. This is 2012, 2016, here's 2008. So this is Obama being elected, this is Obama being re-elected. Interesting, see the difference? You can see the counties that flipped up here. This county flipped. This county flipped, but for Trump from Obama. Interesting, huh? Look at California. Some counties flipped. That one went for Obama in 2008. All right. So what about Clinton? Clinton won all of these. So she won more than Obama did in 2012. Interesting, right? So, okay, a couple other fun facts. By the way, there's test questions on this. A faithless elector. Remember, and I showed you a copy of the ballot. There were 11 Republican names, 11 Democratic names, 11 Libertarian names on the ballot under each president, vice presidential candidate. All right. Can one of those people vote differently than they're supposed to? Well, the answer is yes. Yes. But About half the states have laws that punish them with a fine or a jail term or both. All right? By the way, go to this link. I also posted it, AP, it's in your section. I'll put it in for all of you guys. There's a case, starts with CH from 2020 that upheld the right of, Supreme Court case that upheld the right of states to punish electors that don't vote the way they are supposed to and provide a mechanism for replacing them if they don't vote correctly. All right, no presidential election has been decided by a faithless elector. All right, faithless electors. A member of a party's state slate of electors who cast an electoral vote for someone other than the candidate they're pledged to vote for, or just refuses to vote. What happens if there is a tie? By the way, can there be a tie? You know what? I think the possibility of a tie is like fairly likely this time around. Remember, I got into 270 to win. I gave all of the swing states to Trump, and then I switched Wisconsin from Democrat to Republican, and then split the electoral votes in Maine and Nebraska and got to 269 to 269. What happens? Okay, under the 12th Amendment, the House of Representatives would pick our president. If nobody gets a majority of electoral votes, they are going to choose from the top 3 candidates that got electoral votes. So it wouldn't even be, the last one was Wallace, right, 1968. But here's the weird thing, each state would have 1 vote. So how would Arizona vote right now? Well, Arizona right now has five Democratic members of the House of Representatives and 4 Republicans. They would all go into a room, the 9 of them, and they would say, how many vote for Biden? And 5 hands would go up. How many vote for Trump? And 4 hands would go up. And Arizona's single vote would go for Biden. I don't know how, I'd have to do some analysis to see who would win that election. But the Democrats are up by 40 seats in the House right now. So, you know, it may very well be that Biden might get elected. All right, and a candidate must receive 26 votes to be president. This has happened twice, in the election of 1800 and the election of 1824. VP would go to the Senate, who would elect the vice president from the top 2 candidates. And in this situation, the Senate would vote. Regularly. Senators would just cast a vote. So interestingly, will we ever? All right. The 12th Amendment quickly said that when an elector votes, no longer are they just going to list 2 names. And the name with the most listed the most becomes president, and the name listed the second most becomes vice president. Now, because of the 12th Amendment, electors specifically write president and vice president on their ballot, all right? So, we are always going to have a president and a vice president of the same political party, except when could we have a president of one party and a president of the other party? Well, it might be, if we have a tie, it could happen now, because the Senate right now is controlled by Republicans, 53 to 47. So if there is no vote, if there's no winner in the Electoral College, then the Republican Senate would pick a Republican vice president. And I don't know how the math goes. We'd have to go see actually how many states, you'd have to go state by state and count the number of congressmen in each state, right? Plus, if a state has like 8 congressmen, they could be in a 4-4 tie, and then they would have no vote. They would not be voting. So you'd have to go do some analysis to see how each state would come out. But it's possible, given the fact that there are about 40 more Democrats in the House than Republicans, that even applying this, each state having a single vote, Biden would win, and then we would have Biden for president and Pence for vice president. Weird, right? Okay. All right, that is an outline for my AP people. Don't worry about it. I'll print it out later. And these are some free responses on the Electoral College and free responses on presidential primaries and caucuses. By the way, add 2020 onto this, my AP people. All right? Thanks for the hard work, guys.